after having two kids back to back, I barely had time for myself to do any work or my personal time. And I think it's safe to say I was craving a lot of non-baby related productivity in my life. And so oftentimes I would Google and brainstorm new business ideas, or I would pretend like I'm having a conversation with an imaginary adult sitting next to me. And if all that failed, then I would binge watch productivity videos on YouTube to make myself feel a tad bit better about my existence. Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Neha. If you're new here, then I would love for you to stick around. I'm a mother to two girls and an entrepreneur, and every week I make videos related to motherhood, entrepreneurship, and health. So if any of this interests you, then please consider subscribing to my channel. With this, let's begin today's video. So I've watched a lot of content, videos on productivity. I've read a lot of blog posts also. I wanted to maximize every single minute that I was awake doing something meaningful rather than mindlessly just watching TV or listening to music or even using the bathroom for 2 minutes was a waste of time. That's what I used to think. Yeah, I was obsessed with being productive. A lot of it was because I wanted to regain my sanity after having kids, and some of it was also because I love helping people and inspiring people. That's something I've always loved and wanted to do. But after months of struggling, I felt the burnout. There were days where I could accomplish a lot more things than what I had on my to-do list. And then there were days when I would barely be able to fold just one load of laundry or barely even cook one simple meal for my family. And that's the time I felt completely worthless. It was like a constant battle. So what is productivity? Let's look at the definition of it. Commonly, it's defined as the ratio between the volume of output and the volume of input. So basically, when it comes to human beings, it's the maximum amount of something that you can produce in the most minimum amount of time. It's conditioning our brains to think that doing a lot more of one thing is a good thing, and if you're not doing a lot more of it, then you're not being productive, you're not being good enough, you're not being efficient. The most commonly and proudly used word in today's time is hustle. It's almost as if without hustling, you're simply whiling away your life. A lot of productivity YouTubers talk about the importance of having a side hustle to increase productivity and to increase the chances of being successful and rich. There are various methods that people swear by that work for them for being productive. And honestly, being productive is not a bad thing at all. In fact, it's a very good thing to have. But what's important to note is at what cost do we do it? Clearly, there's no one-size-fits-all formula when it comes to productivity. And that is something we need to take account of. What we don't realize sometimes is that a lot of these productivity gurus are either single or married without kids, or who have slightly older, more independent kids. That does not work the same for someone who is a new parent with very young kids who are totally dependent on them. And I was one of them. Many of these successful people do not reach that level of success overnight. It takes a lot of hard work for years, day in and day out, to reach where they are, to be as productive as they are at this time. And when you reach that level of success, it's easier to hire someone to manage your tasks, to help you out in your day-to-day productivity, your activities. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't always see. There's someone who might be able to cook for you while you work or watch your kids while you work, and that is not always the case with everyone. Talking about me personally, in my quest of trying to live a more mindful life, trying to focus on my mental health and practice slow living, I had almost forgotten that I need to take a break, slow down, and stop running into this crazy rat race of productivity that I see other people doing around me. Now, is productivity toxic or is it healthy? That's the question of today, especially when it comes to mothers. Well, productivity constantly tells you to focus on the output, the goal, achieving targets, achieving a lot of things painfully. If you are enjoying the process, if things come a little easy to you, if you're not having that stress, then maybe you're not putting in 100%. You're not being as productive as you should be. And that's where it starts getting toxic. It makes you feel guilty for doing things that your body or your mind needs at that time. For example, sometimes you just need to take a break from all the hustle that you're doing and rest your mind for some time. If you're doing anything other than being productive, then that's a bad thing. That is what we're made to feel when we're constantly fighting to be more and more and more productive every single day. That is where I believe you need to draw a line if you want to prevent yourself from having a toxic relationship with productivity. Okay, now if you're someone who loves to binge watch shows on Netflix, being a couch potato, or playing video games like 10 hours a day every single day, then of course you need to kind of pause and reevaluate your life choices and probably be a little more mindful of the things you do. But at the same time, if you're someone who's generally a healthy person, having healthy habits, working, taking care of your family, your household chores, your kids, your health, your career, and everything, and then if you feel stressed or overwhelmed because you see some productivity guru talking about having 5 different income streams that helps them get passive income every single month, that adds more value and that adds to their assets, while you don't have that, when you see all your friends around you investing in cryptocurrency and you don't even know what it means, that is when it starts getting toxic. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you should not be bothered about investments or finances or learning about different income streams. No, all these things are definitely great in today's time. But I'm specifically referring to mothers because I am one. If you have young children dependent on you, I feel that is the biggest investment that you've already made in your life. Imagine you're responsible for raising children that are going to be the future of our planet. What's a bigger investment than that? Of course, it does not mean that you have to just push away your dreams and your aspirations and your goals and everything aside. Of course not. You can and you must achieve everything that you've planned for yourself or that you dream of doing for yourself. But all I'm trying to say is that in order to prevent your relationship with productivity from being toxic, you need to understand where you need to draw the line. And I'm talking about all these things, but I'm still learning that. I'm still working on that myself. Sometimes when I get too stressed out, I take a pause and just take a few steps back and look at my life from a broader perspective. That gives me more clarity about everything going on around me. Just because people are running to do 10 things every single day, and sometimes when they don't achieve that, they beat themselves up for not being productive enough. When you feel like things are easy, your life is easy, you feel you're not being productive enough. That is when it starts getting toxic. So one takeaway for all you mothers with young children is that productivity is a great tool if you know how to use it correctly. If you are constantly having a fear of missing out on things, if you constantly feel like you need to do what other productivity gurus are doing, then that's when it starts getting toxic. It's important to balance your life out, and sometimes you need to take a step back and not be productive enough. If you need that break, if you need to just relax and not do anything for a day, that's okay too. I still love being productive. I like doing things that add meaning, that add value, not just to my life, but to the life of my family as well. So I'm going to continue making productivity content, but what I have learned is that sometimes it's okay to not be productive. You don't always have to do it 24/7. Sometimes you need a break, and that is important. So with that, I end this video. I hope it helped you in some way. Please do take care of yourself. Your mental health is the most important thing. Everything else will just follow. If you like this video, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. All right, I'll see you very, very soon. Bye.